So as promised, I'm here with Mr. Scott Penseby. I want to thank you for allowing us to be here today.
Thanks.
Everyone that we've brought in, they are absolutely been amazed and they feel so good, which is the best part. I love seeing that my friends come in here with their pains, and now you guys and your staff did what you do, and now they all feel great, which is awesome. But we gotta know, we have clientele base over here of over 150 celebrities. You have a clientele base of some of the people that actually come in here, you know, they're on 9-figure, $100 million contracts. They could go anywhere in the world to get treatment. Money's not an issue. I gotta know, and everyone wants to know, why here? Why sports? What happened? What do you do?
I think, you know, I guess our motto is the patient's interest is the only interest. You know, it's compassion. It's what keeps me going. You know, I think there's always a story. A story is that there's nothing better than make a person feel better. Yeah. And I think my team that's around me has been blessed to help people get better, faster, quicker than most places. We have a lot of compassion. My team, and I'm only as good as the team around me. And I've been very fortunate to have a great team around me. Some very, very talented individuals, well-read, and I think that's what's happened.
We absolutely love it. We have one of our hometown heroes, Andre Agassi, from Las Vegas. We have a pretty regular out here in Las Vegas, Red Foo of LMFAO, and then we also have Chuck Liddell. So it's such a diverse group that comes in here. And again, money's not an issue, they can go anywhere. But the star of the show we know is Rehab 1000, done by Longevity. What is it about this? There's so many different types of pain creams out there. Why is it that the stars love Longevity's Rehab 1000?
I think how it all first started was I had patients that were my toughest patients back 20 years ago were my diabetic neuropathy patients and fibromyalgia patients. And as we all know, that's pain driven. And if we could decrease the pain, you can increase range of motion, increase function. And so I wanted to come up with a cream, and the cream at that time was called OrthoCare. I teamed up with Nature's Body Care, which at that time was in business, and we came up with a product called OrthoCare. OrthoCare was to help decrease pain, and that was the really reason what we went out for. So after I found we sold about 50,000 tubes of OrthoCare, just in my my clinic only. You know, it wasn't really well known, and I was like, this is great. So then I was fortunate enough to team up with Mr. Jim Song, Longevity, and he added to the product, and we now have the product with Capacin, MSM, and those two products are anti-inflammatories. The Capacin is a neuropeptide, eats up the P substance. The P substance is your pain-creating substance, and Capacin, and it's well known, eats up. It goes after that P substance. It eats it up like a Pac-Man, so you have decreased pain. Well, the MSM is a derivative and it's called methylsulfamethane. It's an anti-inflammatory, and that is also a natural anti-inflammatory. So those two products together, it was a mistake. What happened was we had the Capacin, and then we were looking for something to drive it deeper into the tissue. And we found that when we added MSM, for some reason, it drove it into the tissue, and that's why sometimes a person will put it on and will feel it a little bit at first, then 12, 14 hours later, they'll be driving along in a car or out somewhere else and they'll kick on again.
Coming on.
Yeah, so it's on and off because it penetrates into the tissue. And so we always say it's the cream that keeps on giving, just keeps on going. You know?
That is amazing.
So,
and it looks like you have two different types. You have the mild.
Correct.
And then you have the normal one.
Correct.
Right? One of your golden nuggets though, one of your little secrets of how you incorporate Longevity's Rehab 1000 though, is this spectacular tool. Can you share with us where did this come from? How did you come up with the design? How does this actually work?
Okay. The idea came, you know, I first came up with the cream, and then I wanted to find another way to put it on someone without having them touch their under their skin, because a lot of my tennis players, my golfers, basketball players, when they would put this on, they'd have to go wash their hands because you put it in your eye, you know, because it has Capacin, will sting. So I said, well, there's an applicant. But at the same time I was thinking about that, I was taking courses. It's called Gua Sha, Tune, and Graston. Okay. Those are techniques that have been, actually Gua Sha's been around for about 2,000 years.
Long time.
Yeah, it's been using a seashell, or they've used caribou bone to scrape and increase circulation. So I said, okay, now we've got a product, a chemical or a cream that can create increased circulation. How can I increase circulation even more? Well, now we use the blade. And so there is a product called that I got introduced to. It's called Graston. Great product. It's a stainless steel tools. I thought it was probably the best. It brought my population of success, double-fold. But at the same time, very expensive. The blades themselves is about almost $5,000 for a set. I purchased that set, and my whole staff, we shared them. But a lot of times, one person would have a tool, and we'd have to wait for them to get done with it. So I was like, there's got to be a better way. So these tools here, are about $30, $40 a piece, not $1,200 a piece. So a layperson can pick them up. And I wanted something that my patients could take home with them to do the treatment. And I've had other colleagues, other physical therapists, chiropractors say, you're going to run us out of business because you're going to let them, treat themselves. Yeah, that's not going to happen. What's going to happen when they run into a problem, they're actually going to come back and have you, treat them. And maybe we have further techniques that can just enhance them instead of just a lay-ins, easy scraping. So that was, I really wanted to bring upon the individual to learn how to do it themselves. So it was a way that you could have a significant other help with lower back pain and put it on you without putting the hot stuff on your hands. That was one of the problems. So I came up with the first one. It's called the Scapula, and that's the first one we came up with. And then Jim Song's son came up with the Bone, and he's a pro tennis player. And he and I worked together, and he came up with the Bone. They're covered with a zinc antibacterial cover, so for infections and all that stuff. Okay. We want to make sure that it has a coating on it that doesn't allow any type of bacteria to grow on these tools. So that was a big factor. We still, you still have to wash them and clean them after every use, but that was another factor.
What's the biggest difference between the Scapula and the Bone?
I think the biggest one is, what I find is the patient's hand size. Okay. When I designed this one, this is somebody that has a medium to a large hand. This is probably for someone that has a smaller hand, and at the same time smaller areas to work on. So let's say I wanted to work on your finger, we may want to use this size, but sometimes going in there with something as small as this and getting there, it's a lot easier using this, and there's all with different areas. This one here I use a lot for the shoulder, the neck. We put a little hole in here so you can hang on to it.
Got it.
The other thing I had is I had a lot of massage therapists. The years are about 5 to 7 years they last. And usually they don't last because their hands get tired. Same with physical therapists, and we're working our hands all day. This is another way to, I've been doing this 25 years. This has saved probably put another 10 or 15 years in my hands. So that was another reason why I came up with it.
The Penske method.
Yes.
I love it.
Penske method, right.
Awesome. And last question for us, for our viewers, we want to know, how did longevity and you and Jim Song, and you guys, how did this marriage come about?
I was treating Evan Song at that time, was a amateur, trying to get into the pro circuit. Okay. And I was treating Mike Query, which is a pro tennis player. He told me about Jim Song. Met Jim Song and Evan, and Jim was very interested in the topical cream, and I actually treated his son with chronic tendonitis of his knee. Wow. With it, and with one treatment he was pain-free, and that just kind of stuck. And he's like, Scott, how can I get involved with your treatments? He's the one to help me design and manufacture the cream, help me manufacture the blades, and I know he has his clinic or his big companies in Korea, and so that's kind of how we're going about our company. And
correct me if I'm wrong, but he actually had the tendonitis, then you helped him, and now he went from the amateur, now he's on the pro circuit.
That's correct.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah, and he's one of the biggest advocate of the PMT and the Rehab 1000. I know he's on Twitter talking about it all the time. So
I love it.
Yeah. So, and we just bought a world-class 80,000 square foot. I think you're going to be showing it later.
Yes.
It's a sports-specific training facility over on the other side of town, and we're upstairs, but it's got 2 indoor soccer fields, tennis court, and we're looking at buying the 5 acres next to it to build 5 indoor basketball courts. And so, we're really going to try to make it a great place to play. At the same time, hopefully get treated well.
Treated well, improve the body. And using these methods. I absolutely love it. Yeah. So we appreciate your time, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.